Where's that music coming from? I'm
My
hearing
music?
something.
How would you be able to hear my Spotify? Do you have my stream up?
It's not. It, it's like trumpets or something. I don't. This doesn't sound
It's
like a
not
Spotify.
trumpets. What are you hearing? Yours going insane. Maybe. You good, dude?
I don't know. I don't know.
This is what we're
The
talking about
trumpets.
today. If you're good, we're good.
Yeah,
It's
from it's
just
not
your
picking it.
neighbor, like, picked up the trumpet.
That's crazy.
I
Oh
have to
my
say it's
gosh.
really trippy though, because I'm like I got really used to playing this game
Yeah.
alone, and then to hear like the water sounds
The
not
second.
stop
Yeah. The second
when
power
I
washer.
stop spraying the water is kind
Yeah.
of weird. But yeah, anyway, let me explain
Yeah.
some context before we jump into
Yes.
like what we wanted to talk about, because we've been holding
Please
off
do.
on having this discussion off stream so that we could have it on stream, but now it's like way
Yeah.
overdue.
Oh
Funnily
my
enough,
gosh.
because I went to go off and be burnt out, which is so
it's
funny.
it's been so long that I honestly like this is also going to be a refresher session because I don't
Of
I
like the
don't know how
game.
in depth of the yeah I don't know how in depth the discussion can go since everything's
Nah.
not really that fresh anymore.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have
Yeah,
to spend the entire time talking about it. We
yeah,
can literally talk about anything else too.
yeah. That's fair.
Um, just general check-in. I think the events of Wanderstop are always gonna be relevant. But
Right,
yeah, let
right.
me let me let me provide context. So basically, like, um, we wanted to do this as like a hyperfixation episode, but like since the last episode of hyperfixation, which was Tala's episode, we wanted to do like episode 3 to discuss Wanderstop because that was when Wanderstop came out, right? I
Hmm.
wanted to do it with Fjord, and then
Hi.
in a horrifying actual art art merges with
Art imitates
reality,
life. Yeah.
art imitates life moment, I went off and got really burnt out. And now
Oh
I'm not
no.
sure if like I will bring back hyperfixation because I don't know if I have the capacity to continue running it. Um
Yeah.
and then but we still wanted to like vaguely talk about Wanderstop a little bit. And so that's what we're doing today while we finish this like power wash level. And I think once we're like done with the level, and I think it's a pretty sizable level. When we finish it, we'll stop. We'll go back to
Yeah.
work. I was gonna say
Right.
power working, which is not it.
No, I mean there's two levels, right? This is like number five. Let me
Is
see
it?
the. There's the sculpture park as well, so there's like a second level. Yeah,
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I just want to finish the
yeah,
new Muckingham because that's the only one I haven't done.
yeah.
Nice, but yeah, um, yeah, I specifically wanted to have the conversation with you also because I think
Mhm.
you are like the only person I know that like has followed Davy Reedon's games to like this level, to a
Right.
similar level that I have.
Yeah.
Um, and it's also like, I mean, I've had this thought like a lot over, especially when Wonderstar was coming out and like back when I was like trying to introduce people to like the beginner's guide and stuff like that. Like it is kind of a specific, like he's a very specific kind of game creator, I think. And like for the people who like, it's either you resonate with his games or you don't. And like
Mm.
when people don't, it's kind of clear. Because
Right.
I've definitely like recommended his games to people, and like to some people it's just like maybe it's something they've never personally felt or experienced, and so there's no way for them to like you know feel the fullest extent of like what his games are like trying to say. So like I get that.
Mhm.
Um but also that's why I specifically like wanted to have this conversation. I wanted to have it with you. Also, hi
Right.
Tala.
Hello. Hello as well, Hera.
Oh, Hera, hi. But yeah, you played Wonderstop before I did.
Yeah. I pretty much immediately got it on launch, and I was like, this is because it was a release that I was like really hyped for. right? Naturally, being a fan of Davy Reed and stuff before, like the Stanley Parable, the Beginner's Guide, I pretty much played through all of those, including Ultra Deluxe. Although I think that one is less
Oh, I
Davy
didn't
Reed
play
and
Ultra Deluxe. Yeah,
more
it's
William
more like hee
Pugh.
hee ha ha.
Yeah, yeah. Because they sort of did kind of split up. I guess I'm not too
Did
sure
they?
about like how involved Davy Reed himself was with Crows and like
Oh.
because I mean I've also been following Crows like they after the Stanley Parable they had that sort of side like shorter game Dr. Longishkov the Tiger and the Terribly
Oh, I didn't
Cursed
know about this
Emerald.
at all.
Oh yeah, no, it's sort of like a more like hee hee ha ha meta game kind of in following the Stanley Parable, but it's also very clear. Like I think the beginner's guy made it very
Wait,
clear.
what's
Like
it
Davy
called
Reed
again?
wanted to go in a very different direction. Um, hold on, let me type the full title.
I can type
Uh,
for. I know English.
th-
Also,
yeah, but
Heretic. So
it's
is
just
this a
the
podcast
Longishkov
or
like that. Yeah.
oh this one? Wait, this was by them.
Yes. It's by
Oh,
Crows, which was established like for the Stanley Parable. But I think yeah, I think Davy Reedon like since the beginner's guide has sort of been more focused on his own thing. So I don't know how involved he was with this specifically.
I
So
feel
I
like
tend to
no
see like
because I
Stanley
definitely
Parable,
like
Ultra
watched
Deluxe is
gameplay
more
of
like
this. I was
William
like,
Pugh. Yeah,
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 not a very like read and type writing, like a bit too like
yeah.
trying to recreate the success of Stanley Parable vibes.
Right.
But yeah, sorry, just
Right.
wanted to address like what Hera said. Is this a podcast or not a podcast? This feels like a podcast. I think Fjord is just podcast vibes, which is not wrong.
That's yeah. I will take that as a compliment.
But no, I mean technically it will probably feel like a podcast, but it's just not hyperfixation because I
Yeah.
feel like I was holding myself too back too much, I think, because like I was trying to get the episodes down to like an hour's length after editing, which is like so rough. And I think most
Right.
podcasts like aren't even that length anymore. They typically range like 20 to 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't think I have like the capacity to post something
Yeah.
that formal, but I still want to like play Power Wash and like chat with friends.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this very much is like sort of the
So
it's
yeah,
kind of a pseudo podcast without the pressures of the format and the formality and
yeah,
everything. Where it's
like we
just
could
like
upload it.
yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I might upload it as a VOD. I'll cheekily put it into the podcast playlist, but like,
All right. Fair
yeah,
enough. Yeah.
it's a bit like I'm actually thinking at this point to just upload Tala's episode unedited because I wanted to go up and I wanted to be archived somewhere, but like I got no time to
Right.
like refine or anything. Mm, but I still want to have meaningful conversations with friends that get you know converted into content for the internet. Wow. But yeah, sorry, back to Wanderstop. The game,
Yes.
I wanted to say this earlier, but like when I was playing the game, I was
Mhm.
really grateful because I got a review key for the game.
Oh, nice.
Um, and it was from Ivy Road themselves, so I felt like very, oh my god, one
Oh
degree of
wow.
separation from Davey Reed and through their
Wow.
PR person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember thinking like
There's
the game is
Annapurna as well, right?
way longer. Was it? Oh yeah, it was. But I actually got the
Right.
key via the devs instead of the publisher.
Hmm. I see.
Yeah, but I remember thinking the game was like way longer than expected.
Hmm. Yeah.
It was
I
like
don't know.
what,
It
10
was
hours,
also
15
short and sweet.
hours?
Yeah.
No, considering that like Sally Parable is how long and
Right. That's fair enough.
and then
But
beginner's
also the
guide is like
Stanley
an
Parable is
hour.
yeah. it's a lot less focused, like Stanley Parable. I mean, because that's part of the appeal of like just how crazy it gets, right?
Yeah. But yeah, what were do you remember your initial thoughts after playing the game at all? It's been like
Um,
ages. When the fuck did the game come out?
yeah,
April?
yeah. No, literally, it's been a lot has happened in that time. Um, I I remember us having wildly different experiences with the game.
Really?
I mean, like a lot of it was the same, but like I think how we approached the narrative and like the choices we made,
Oh,
I
I
remember we
remember. I
diverged
remember. I remember.
really
I
hard.
remember.
Yeah. But I don't know how much we want to get into that, or if there's like some sort of structure if we want to talk to like gameplay first, or like I don't
Structure.
know what
Structure. No structure. Just go for it.
structure.
Spoiler warning though. Spoiler
Okay.
warning. If y'all plan to play
Spoiler
Wanderstop,
warning for anyone
we're gonna dive into it.
who is, yeah, who hasn't played Wanderstop and is like for whatever reason listening to this with no idea what we're about to talk about. Um, but yeah, so the
Oh wait, maybe I
story
should establish
very
a
much,
structure.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
what is
exactly, right.
Wanderstop?
What is Wanderstop? Yeah.
Maybe we should answer the fundamental question of what is Wanderstop before we start
The
talking about it.
Merriam-Webster
Oh
dictionary
my god.
defines Wanderstop.
Wanderstop. A game made by Ivy Road Studios? Is it Studios?
Yeah.
Ivy Road Studios,
I
which
don't know if it's
is
studios.
Davey
I think they
Reedon's
just call it Ivy
studio.
Road. Yeah.
Ivy Road.
Hmm.
Davey Reedon was the creator of Stanley Parable and also the creator of The Beginner's Guide. He's one of my favorite like game designers, game devs. Um, he Ivy Road is the debut game of this like new studio of his, and it's a studio made up of him, um, one person who worked on Gone Home, which is also one of my favorite
Oh,
indie games,
yeah.
and then another literally the Minecraft music guy.
Oh,
Yeah, that like the studio is
C
three of them.
418 or something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I see.
And so they made Ivy Road. It was mainly three of them with like a bunch of like outsourcing and freelancers and stuff like that. But the studio is technically three of them. And Wanderstop is like marketed as a game about burnout, pretty much. You like play
Yeah,
as this what's her name? Alta?
yeah. Alta.
Yeah, you play as Alta, who is like a fighter who used to be like the best in the biz and then um started to like fall in the ranks basically, I guess. Or started to lose.
Yeah,
She was like undefeated and then she started to lose. And then she came into the forest to like seek training to hopefully like regain her fighting ability, to become the best again. But then she gets stuck at this tea house where she realizes she can't leave because she can't even like summon the will to carry her sword again, which is both like, I mean, in the game it's very literal, but is meant to be
yeah,
very metaphorical, I think. Very like Kiki's
yeah,
delivery. Uh, you can't. She forgets how to fly, kind of thing.
yeah. Or like I guess the elevator pitch of this would be like it's a cozy game, except your character very much does not want to be there and do the cozy things. Like they're trying to get the hell out of there, but you're kind of forced to, in a way,
Wait, I need to
which
search
is
up
interesting.
what my blurb was for when I wrote the review.
Right.
Oh, there. My review title was Wanderstop teaches a hard lesson in a soft place,
Hmm.
which I think was, yeah, what a
Yeah.
banger, banger.
Good line. Good line.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. But yeah, now that you're bringing it back up, we had very
Yeah.
different endings, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. Or just narratively, because they're throughout the game, basically as you're running the tea shop, you'll interact with various like customers, and each of them will have a little bit of a story that you kind of experience. And I guess if we're gonna jump right into late game spoilers, there's this child character called Monster, who is kind of like they meet you and they're like, oh wow, you're super cool, I want to become a fighter too, and then you have to deal with the struggle of like, do I train this kid? Like, do can they even handle this? Do we know what's going on? Like, is it even responsible for me to how am I gonna teach someone fighting when I can't even pick up my own sword and that kind of thing? And so the story sort of brings you to a point where you're forced to choose, like, okay, do I basically the kid runs away with your sword and it's like, okay, do I like take the sword from the kid, or do I say like, you know what, you have it, like whatever. um and it's kind of the the test in the story of like, have you learned your lesson?
So Fjord didn't, and
So I
I did.
clearly didn't. Yeah. Yeah. Um. So in my playthrough, I kicked the kid's ass because I was like, you know, this is the thing
Kick
that
her
like my character has
ass,
said they want
Fjord.
like the whole game, and so like in role play fashion, I was like, okay, you know what, my
Fjord.
alta like did not learn anything.
Oh
so
my
so
god.
and that cutscene was like a way shorter. So when I was like watching that stream, her
You're like, this
playthrough,
is
and then she
you?
made the other choice, and I was like, oh my gosh, there's a whole ass scene. There was
Oh
way more
no.
story here. Uh,
Oh no. Okay, wait. Do you remember if like after you get the cutscene, does the rest of the story kind of follow suit to what I had, or
yeah.
did it also change?
No, it pretty much it follows the rest of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
How punishing would it be if like you just got
It would, yeah.
completely different ending?
Yeah, no. I don't think the game could really diverge too much in terms
Yeah,
of like narrative
choices
choices.
and stuff. Yeah, yeah. That's why I
Yeah.
was kind of like, I mean, I guess it makes sense because they were placing so much weight on the choices. Of course, it had to like turn out kind of differently. But I was
Right.
also very kind of partly like surprised that it wasn't just a linear narrative.
Hmm.
Because it seemed like for the most part, you spend like 10 hours getting to that point, right? And then like
Yeah.
every point of the way, like you getting there, the game is constantly like reinforcing to you that like your choices don't matter pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
Or like they don't really have consequence, especially with like regards to the main story, right? Because
Right.
one of the first like emotional hurdles you have to cross is the fact that like when you cross over to a new season in the game, because the game is like split by seasons. So like when you go from
Mhm.
like spring to summer, for example, all your progress in the game gets reset, which is totally like counterintuitive to game design because you put in all this effort to like make your garden look
Yeah.
beautiful and put in all the flowers, and then you come back and everything is gone. All the like tea
Right.
that you have, the tea balls that you prepared, everything's gone, which I thought was so
Yeah.
powerful of a way to like communicate your theme through gameplay.
Right.
But it also made me feel kind of surprised that like, oh, at the last bit, here's a point where your story does actually, I mean, your choices does actually matter.
Hmm. Yeah. And not necessarily like, I don't know. I think it approached it in a very smart way, where it's like it doesn't tangibly affect the gameplay experience, but it does really affect um just your own narrative experience.
Did you feel less closure ending the game?
Um, Not at all, actually, weirdly
Huh.
enough, because I feel like whatever um thing I missed in the interaction with the monster, I felt like I kind of got with the ending, like the last scene where you were just sort of like sitting there on the bench, and then I was like, oh, you know, I'll just sit here for a while, and I felt like that was
Hmm.
um
Which is
enough
funny because
for
I
me.
got up and
Yeah.
left.
Yeah, because you got up a lot, so it's like we have drastically like different. But that's because you already had your like closure moment, so
Yeah. And
I
I was
felt
like,
like
oh, she's ready
that
to move
was the
on.
right time for me to,
Yeah.
yeah. Whereas for me, I felt like, okay, this is the time to call it in and be like, yeah, maybe I've learned my lesson. I don't know.
Yeah, what we're
Who's to
referring
say?
to is that in the credits, you can choose to like sit there with Boro for longer and like sit through the credits with him sitting there basically.
Yeah.
with you, and then you have like you share one last moment before the game truly ends. But like I just got up, and then so it was an empty bench,
Empty bench. Yeah.
and then but it was still the credits. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, for the most part, it was the same.
yeah, yeah. I just remember like, oh, what a. I remember the first time I changed seasons, and I was like, oh, what an asshole kind of way to like make your point.
Hmm. Right.
Because like, what kind of game like gives you a decorating mechanic and a shop management mechanic only to like rip it away from you? But then it's the moment it does that, you immediately understand what the game is trying to tell you. Just so smart.
Right.
Because the game is a lot
Cause
about like
yeah.
I don't know helplessness.
Hmm. Or just like not taking things too seriously. I feel like the reset thing is sort of freeing in a way because then it's like, um, I don't know, with other games like let's say for example, Animal Crossing, right? Like you could spend a lot of time like kind of pouring effort and money and whatever into decorating your island and making it the best it can be. Um, and then like there's a whole economy system. You visit other people's islands, and then there's that element of competition and just like
Yeah.
one-upsmanship. And I feel like that was a pretty interesting way of alleviating the pressure of all of that. Of like I have to make this the prettiest, where it's okay to just like, oh, it looks nice, and then when it's time to move on, you move on. Um, like it doesn't completely take that control away from you because well, you control the buttons you press, right?
It did
Like you
feel
decide when to
very
move
like
on to the next chapter.
yeah. It did feel actually very cathartic, and I don't think I mean, when I was playing it, I was like, I've never played a game or consumed any piece of media that's made me feel this specific way. And until, I mean, even now, I have not.
Right.
Because, like, I don't know. Maybe this is going back to, like, how media is now, and especially with games, right? Because, like,
Mm-hmm.
you play games because of gamification, and games are designed to be that way, to have, like, the, reward loop and all this to keep you playing, all that. So, like, you go into every game and it kind of gives you that feeling of like, or at least it gives me that feeling of like, okay, I am first learning how to play it, and then now I'm gonna learn how to be good at it,
Mm.
you know. Versus like playing Wanderstop, it was also very different from like playing just a regular narrative game, because like your goal in the narrative game is to complete the narrative, right? But this one was very
Right.
much like you're playing it, you're like fulfilling orders, and the entire time I'm just like telling myself like almost trying to unlearn, expectations. Like it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. You don't have to do this, you don't have to do this. The game doesn't need you to do this or that.
Right. Like it's interesting to see this game and then look back to something like the beginner's guide where you can sort of see the seeds of the idea like form like
Oh yeah.
in the beginner's guide there's this mini game where you basically go around and clean a house, like fluff some pillows, adjust a rug, that kind of thing. And in the game, uh, Davy Reedon, the narrator, sort of like cuts you off and is like, oh, okay, you have to move on. But it's later revealed that like in the original game designers spoilers for the beginner's guide. But it is later revealed it's like no, and the original intent of the game is like you damn well could have just cleaned a
Kept
house
going
and
on, yeah.
done stuff for like however long you want, and it's and yeah, I feel like a Wanderstop is very much an extension of that idea, right?
True. I think so. I think like a lot of Davy Reedon's games, like the three, that come to mind, like all three of them
Mm,
deal with very I wouldn't say like similar themes, but definitely stuff overlaps.
right,
Because like
for sure.
you can tell that, him as a writer or him as a person or whatever, like has thought a lot about like maybe futility,
Mm,
and then like what art means to him, and all these questions of like, and then dealing with people's expectations, I'm sure is like a big one. And it's
Yeah.
it's very meta because like you don't have to like know him to know that he struggles with the stress of expectations because he is the Stanley Parable guy and he is the beginner's guide
Right.
guy, and he hasn't had like a flop per se, you know?
Mm.
And so like everyone has their eyes on him to be like, what is he gonna say now with Wanderstop? And unfortunately, I think it's his stress is gonna keep continuing because Wanderstop was great.
Yeah. Suffering from success.
Man,
Mm. But yeah. Um. I guess a lot of it, like ahead of this chat, is also kind of been trying to reflect on like, okay, what is the game trying to say, right? What is the narrative? What does it mean? Um, I don't know
insert
if you
like
have any
several
thoughts on
memes.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because like when I was playing the game, um I remember having this distinct like um feeling of like, oh, I'm not, you know, entirely sure what the game wants me to take away from this,
Right.
because like it doesn't feed you a lesson necessarily, or it doesn't feel like a
Mm.
lesson because I mean it is a lesson, but it's like a lesson that's difficult to swallow, you know? It's a lesson that doesn't feel like a lesson. Because it's a lesson that like you can't learn and then move on. It's almost like a constant reminder kind of thing, which I think
Right.
technically is a lesson, but like you know what I mean?
The game really makes you feel burnt out.
Oh man. I mean,
Um,
it was actually very like when I think about it, it's very reflective of like my experience with burnout, or my experience at work,
right.
because it is actually just like, you know, reminding yourself constantly on like um you know, to take it easy. And
Right.
it's not really
I
something that
mean,
you can
yeah.
like think once and then like know it for real
Yeah.
forever, which I think is the hard pill to swallow.
Hmm.
Like the game can force you to start thinking about it, but it feels almost like unsatisfying at the end because like you're still probably gonna, if you're burnt out, you're probably still gonna wake up tomorrow after playing the game and like still feel burnt out, right?
Hmm.
But the game like leaves you with the maybe a few like more positive thoughts that you can have.
Right.
But it is very much like a, oh, you have to still put in the work kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because even
How do
like
you
at the
feel
end,
about
like,
like the
hmm?
yeah, I mean to that end the game very much kind of approaches this narratively in the sort of way of representing it as like Alta's sort of split personality
Oh
kind of thing,
yeah,
right? That's sort of the explanation
the you
for
mean
what's
the version
driving
of
her
her
to
that
burn
like
out and stuff. Yeah.
appears in the forest.
Yeah. Or like intrusive thoughts Alta, I guess for lack of a better term.
Intrusive thoughts, Alta.
I
Yeah.
don't know what a more accurate way to refer to it would be, but like yeah. Um
Also, we made our way through this train way faster than I thought.
yeah. This is bench
Well,
seat
that's more
dividers.
levels.
Okay. Yeah, this one more level. Oh gosh.
Bench seat dividers. Oh,
Oh lol, nice. But yeah, what were you saying?
Intrusive thoughts, Alta. Sorry, I don't
Yeah.
think you finished your thought about that.
Yeah, no, I was just like, what do you think about like, because the way that I guess the narrative kind of explores its so so-called lessons and stuff like that is very much through the characterizations and using the characters as vehicles, right? Um, so I don't know. The idea of like representing sort of the drive as a separate like entity sort of from like main alta. I don't know how you feel about that sort of
Yeah,
theory of burnout.
it was. I had a lot of like mixed feelings about it.
Mm,
And I think it's also like, to how ready I was to accept it, I think.
right.
Because like even until now, I think that there is some value to drive and ambition and motivation and stuff.
Right.
Um there's a point where it gets like bad for you. Yes, but I think the way of viewing it as a like completely bad thing is also not really right. Um but I think that's also what the game was trying to communicate, right? That like it got to the point of like it being sick, I guess.
Right.
Rather than like, the drive that she had at the beginning. And then because Alta is like presented as somebody who is like so far down the burnout train that like she
Mm,
has to resort to like the most extreme form of healing, which is to just genuinely um take a long break from everything and not even touch fighting.
yeah.
But I think if I'm thinking about the lessons like practically, I don't think there's a like you really would have to get to her level of like bad
Right.
for you
I
to
think
justify that kind of break. And so
yeah.
yeah, it did give me mixed feelings in that regard because like as I was playing it, I was thinking, okay, like how much of this do I what lessons can I actually take away, for my life, if I'm looking at it
Mm,
for lessons. And like it is more of an extremist like um viewpoint, I think. But you kind of have to because of like um you have to show an
yeah.
extreme case example for if that's the point you're trying to make.
Right. Wait, put down this ladder. There's only one spot I can put the ladder down. Ah, okay. Mm, but yeah, I mean, to that end, I think it
Oh,
was a very interesting decision to have like I mean, because of the typical narrative surrounding like motivation and drive and whatever, it's sort of like the willpower like intrusive alta is usually presented as like the main you in that
yeah,
sense, right? It's like okay, you have to do what you want and then
because winning is
will
good and
yourself into
giving up is
existence, and
bad.
then
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And
typically.
so the inversion of that in the narrative was like, oh, okay.
It
I think that was a
yeah,
very, yeah, good framing choice or a very
right?
interesting one.
No, I
Yeah,
love that way of like looking at it and comparing it to like how other games do it because like maybe that's why it
yeah.
sat like kind of weird for me
Mm,
because like you're not
right,
it feels counter intuitive personally and also like as a gamer that like the
right.
right choice here with with the outcome where you get the best whatever
Mm,
um is the option where you quote unquote give up.
right. Or the thing that like yeah, because I think the way that the narrative frames it very much is like is the drive element or that side of Alta's personality is the thing that's sort of like killing her.
Inner cap door. Lock.
Is all an A? Oh, Lamau.
Oh,
Oh my god. Okay. Dirt jump scare.
but that still wasn't it.
Emergency pull tabs. What the hell are emergency pull tabs?
Plug socket. What the hell?
Oh wait.
Oh, must
it's-
be this.
Okay, it's this thing. Air cap door
Okay.
lock.
But I don't know. Like, I have a very intimate relationship with burnout. What about you?
Mm, I guess that's a very different thing for me because I think my relationship with burnout is much more new. I
Oh,
don't know if I can
new.
really say that I've like been burnt out, but I've also like right now I'm at the point where I'm the hardest working I've ever been in my life.
Oh, really?
Like historically I've always kind of been more like go with the flow, do what I want, um, see what happens, and so now I think I'm much more on the side of like intentionally taking on work and taking on challenges and like trying to do things as
And
opposed
how
to
does that
just
make
letting
you
things
feel?
um so I don't know. I guess I can't really say for sure if I've hit like burnout in the sense that I don't or can't continue with whatever it is I'm doing. I think because right now I will say I'm sort of in the part of like hitting a groove and kind of being like, oh, okay, I do like what I'm doing, and I guess I'm at a point in my life where I'm sort of exploring more of my own capacity in terms of like what I can take on and pushing myself. So
Hmm.
I can't really say I'm at the point where I'm super like burnt out yet. I think a big part of
There's still like
burnout, at
excitement.
least my understanding of it, is like yeah, lack of excitement or like more so lack of purpose of like the idea of like oh what's the point of doing things, right? Which is not to say like I guess I do feel that sometimes, but I don't know if I'm at the point where I would say I would class myself as burning out or
Hmm.
burning out on a regular basis.
I'm starting to doubt if I like um I don't even know how to put this. Also, what's a roof vent?
Among Us.
Oh, wait, here.
Oh well,
Was that the roof vent? Yeah.
yeah. The
Doorway
front
advertisement board.
advertisement boards.
Doorway. Hmm? So my mind's a little bit like muddled because like um I'm fairly certain I've been burnt out before, but I don't entirely know if like what I've been experiencing recently specifically is burnout. Maybe a
Hmm.
little bit of this and a little bit of that, right? I guess because every it's like a spectrum. Um, the hell is signal lights?
Maybe it's on the outside.
I tried looking.
Headlight. Signal light. Yeah. Okay. It's here. Yeah. I got it.
Oh, nice. Oh my god. Okay, wait. Before I
We.
talk about burnout, what's the other map?
Um. It's some sort of palace thing.
I think you have to
Not
add
my
me in,
past.
right?
Park. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I'm not sure if I start the job, it'll just like
Yeah, try and see.
oh wait, bonus jobs, clean the sculpture park. Okay.
Mhm.
Reset any progress on other bonus jobs.
I guess that's what happens. That's why like your progress on the other things didn't
Hmm.
save. Because
Okay, so
co-op is
it does
separate.
bring it with me.
Oh
Alright.
wow, this place is huge. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Alright, anyway. Um wait, do they have my oh they do have my nozzle.
You have come.
What?
The Are you not getting the text message from the game?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay,
Only
I
the
am.
host.
Yeah, okay. So the client is Darcy, and he says you have come.
You have come. Da,
Please
da,
purge
da,
my
da, da.
work of this dirt. My imposter syndrome made
Oh.
manifest. Yes, you guessed correctly. I have done this to myself.
Huh?
Okay, so it's his own like artworks, and then he's like,
Dirtying it.
okay, yeah, them
Oh wow.
lore,
Thematic.
yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I'm kind of struggling to like put it in words.
Mm,
Because I definitely am somebody who has to keep busy, right? And I like
mm,
keeping busy. Um, and there were definitely points at which I was like, oh, okay, I've taken on too much, and I'm like burnt out. Um,
mm,
and then I have taken breaks because I've been burnt out, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I think this recent time, specifically, the burnout that stopped us from doing this episode.
oh god.
I think specifically this one was like kind of weird. Because like I was feeling down for like various reasons outside of
Mhm,
work as well.
mhm.
Um, and so that's why I
Girl,
hesitate to
same.
like ah, to hesitate to classify it as burnout per se. But it
Right.
also like kind of made me realize some things. That like when you're feeling tired or you're feeling like upset or lacking motivation or whatever, like people's advice tends to be like take a break, right? And so I
Mm,
tried to take a break, right? And then when you try to take a break and it doesn't work, then people are like, "Oh, you're fucked. This is how much you haven't been taking a break." you know, like this is
yeah,
the
it's like you
typical
you had
conversation
no,
that you have, right?
yeah,
But the thing is, like, I don't know. I was thinking about it, and I was like, this is not working. Productivity
right.
aside, yeah, this taking a break thing is not really working.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to wonder if, like, you know, I'm starting to wonder if like taking a break is for me. I mean,
Uh,
okay, let me explain it further, okay? But like I was fully like wallowing for a while.
mhm,
Like I was really demotivated. I was tired physically, mentally, emotionally, everything, right? And like you kind of can attribute that to burnout, I guess. Um but when I think about like Wanderstop, the lessons there kind of actually come back to like the lessons that I learned in the past like 2 weeks, which is that, you know, I I don't think taking a full break where you do absolutely nothing at all is the solution for everyone.
right.
Like I've been trying so long to like force myself to just take a break and do nothing that the stress of like having to take a break and do nothing actually gets to me more than if I were just to continue like doing something.
Right.
And so like as I've been getting back into like getting some stuff done, but also like trying to find time to like take a rest like now. or like, you know, not slip back into like bad habits of, you can't do this until this is done or whatever, those kind of like statements in my head. And just generally like being, for lack of a better term, like kinder to myself, I guess. um
Right.
has actually worked out better than like taking a break.
Hmm. I guess the idea is less like do nothing at all as opposed to do something nourishing for the soul.
I
I
guess,
guess that's
yeah.
my understanding of rest theory. Um, I don't know if that's an
Rest
actual term,
theory. Is it an
but
actual
that's just a
term?
theory. I don't think so. Could be
That's a
for all I
theory.
know.
Oh, rest theory.
Um, so yeah, I don't know. Like if because I agree, the idea of like absolutely nothing is like I mean, people go crazy in like isolation chambers for a reason.
Nah.
Like,
Oh
I don't think you're
no.
meant to do absolutely nothing. Um,
And then I don't know. There's like almost a weird pressure of like you take a break and then you come back. You better be like okay, kind of, that
yeah,
vibe
no.
of like you took a break. Why are you still like this kind of thing?
Oh
Or like why
no.
have did you not sufficiently rest?
That was the point of the break.
Yeah,
What
and
do
then you
you
come back from the
mean?
break and you're not rested, and it's like, huh? Do I also have to optimize rest now? Like,
Well, yeah. No,
but it
that's
actually is like
yeah.
kind of crazy. Like, kind of is, yeah.
Sad realities of the world we live in.
Rest, Maxine.
Whereas Max, so
True though, like actually. I mean, it's also kind of crazy, right? Because you can definitely describe like you can talk about burnout and how to deal with it like purely theoretically, but
mm,
for the most part, most people are in scenarios where they can't just take a break.
like it's
Like,
not feasible. There's
yeah,
always gonna be something
there's
waiting for you.
money, there's
Yeah,
responsibilities. Sometimes you like just can't because like you're the only person who can do this. Like, there's like lots of other things. Like, I think the ideal like theoretical rest doesn't really like exist in modern context.
right.
I feel this to my core with burnout and resting as an artist and a streamer. Like, I get not knowing what to do when you need to get away from what's stressing you, and the pressure of coming back twice as strong after your break is the grind culture, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Like I've been thinking about this, like even in like therapy recently, um, where like if you've never been to therapy in your life, especially if you've never done like cognitive behavioral therapy, it's a lot less about like going in there and talking about your feelings, and it's more about like identifying problems and doing the work, which is kind of surprising, I think, to people when they go into like that kind of therapy for the first time,
I
and they
see.
kind of need to be like eased into the practice of it. But that's where like the what people say about how like you can't help yourself if you're not ready to, like, you can't go to therapy if you're not ready to say what you want to work on,
Like
kind of
they
thing.
can't fix you.
Yeah, like it has to come from you wanting to fix yourself first. Because like I can tell you how my cognitive behavioral therapy works, right? I go in like once a month, right? Partially because I can't afford more than once a month. uh, but also I think I don't need to see this guy like more than once a month. So like I catch up with him on like how things have been. He checks in like on like progress on things I said I was gonna like try and work on, or thoughts I wanted to like start implementing. And then he literally sits down and explains more theory to me. Like he runs me through the program of like you spend the first session they for them to understand like what you want to work on, and then he
Yeah.
designs the program around that. And so literally like I'll go in, and this is like also recommended for people who want to like go in and make your 300 ringgit worth it. 260 lah for me. But you're gonna make your money worth it, you have to go in and you have to tell them like, okay, I have this problem, I want to work on this, teach me how. Literally.
Right.
So like I went in, I was like, I need help, managing my anger because I have ADHD. And I also struggle with like perfectionism and self worth. And he was like, cool. Most of my clients do. and then,
Well,
and then we like started talking theory.
you came to the right guy.
Hi, cheesy.
Hey, what's up, cheesy?
And then like I guess if you don't really know what you want to work on, I think is going in with the like mindset of you know being open enough to say what you're struggling with, and then maybe they do the work of like identifying for you, hey, it seems like you struggle with this and this, and then being like
Hmm.
open-minded enough to accept it, I guess. It's like, I don't know, I have such a vivid memory from my first like session with this guy, from like it was a few months ago, it started this year, I think.
Hmm.
um where he very in a very straightforward manner uh pointed at a 4 grid box and was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so I with most of my clients what I do is I try to teach them how to give less of a shit. Right? Because
Well,
most people who struggle from this give too much shits, and I'm here to help you identify when you should give a shit about something and when it's not your problem. And then he
wow.
pointed at 4 boxes and he was like, most people who like have the problems that you have it because they attribute too much external guilt to internal problems. Like they attribute too much
Whoa.
external problems to like being your responsibility. So even if it's
Right.
someone else's anger issues or someone else's lack of responsibility or someone else's like, yeah, whatever, you take it on as your own responsibility.
Right.
Like for example, um or he was giving me like work examples because my problems are all like work related for the most part. But he was giving me an example of like, when your client gives you a really short deadline and then you can't meet the deadline because it's like inhumanely short, right? But then you start to think about like, to you attribute it to as a failure on your part because you can't meet the deadline, when in actuality it's your
Right.
client's fault for giving such a
It's
short
like
deadline to begin with. But then you start to think like,
right.
oh, it's because I'm incompetent. No, it's because the timeline is short.
Right. It's like an extension of the idea of like technically like I can possibly do something about this and because of that therefore like I'm
Yeah,
responsible.
exactly.
Right. Um
So I've been seeing him for this. It's been kind of like
right.
enlightening and somewhat funny.
Hmm. I see.
Why not just blame the client? Like, I mean, I wouldn't be going to therapy if I just blamed the client.
If I could do that, I wouldn't need
I wouldn't need the therapy.
Right. Yeah.
But it was kind of interesting because he was pointing out like the 4 grids, right? And trying to explain to me the concept of like, okay, most people have like one quadrant where you should feel bad because this is something that is your responsibility. But like you're here because you are taking too much of what is in this external grid that is not your problem and making it your problem, right? And he said
Mm.
everyone needs a balanced understanding of like what is a problem that they should worry about because it is their problem versus like, oh, this is a problem that I can't help because it's out of my control, and then like being able learning how to like let go of it from there because it is a problem that is out of your control.
Right.
and that isn't to say that you still can't like raise it as a problem or try to fix the problem, but like not internalizing it as your fault when things go wrong, because it is
Right.
not your fault when things goes wrong. And then conversely, he also pointed out the grid of like there's a lot of people who are on the other end of the thing where they cannot identify like when things are their problem and they blame it on everyone else. And he said these people never come to
Right.
therapy.
Right. That like because that's the narcissist
Yeah.
thing. Right. Which
It's like
yeah, that would.
whatever happens to them, they just blame it externally, and then even if they come to therapy, they cannot accept that it's like their fault for certain things. So like they never have the drive to like go to therapy and try to fix it because it's not their problem, right?
Right.
Which is very funny and interesting to hear about.
Yeah. No, but it's so real. But yeah, I guess I do identify with that sort of framing of taking things on or being like I could have done more. I think I do relate to that.
I think it is something that is like quite at the end of the day quite related to people who tend to get burnt out,
Right.
because it's not just like, I mean, I guess there's burnout from just like actually being busy. That's a normal burnout maybe, but for me
But
it's always
there's that
been
greater like I'm not
yeah,
doing enough, no matter like how
yeah,
hard I'm already working. Right. Yeah.
yeah. I don't know if that necessarily is a part of burnout or just like is a common um add-on that some people have.
I mean,
uh
possibly because like I guess my understanding of burnout is tied to sort of that lack of like a point. So if like you're
a point.
always like no matter what you do, you always think it's not enough, then like what is sort of the point of doing what you're already doing now, right?
Hmm. Yeah, I get that. And then like going back to, helplessness and Alta and
Hmm.
all that. Like when I think about it, helplessness really is like a big part of it. It's and the game kind of like tries to teach you that of like being comfortable with helplessness. Even though it feels like it's something you should never be comfortable with, but like is actually a very key part in overcoming something like burnout.
Right.
Like you have to become comfortable with like things that you're used to being perceived as like negatively as
Right.
negative things. I mean,
Hmm.
and it feels like it always feels wrong. Like it still feels wrong to me. um, but yeah, I guess that's like getting used to the looking at it more objectively.
Right.
Of like it may feel emotionally wrong in your heart, but it is objectively correct.
Well, yeah. I guess I don't know if I would say that the game is about like learning to be comfortable with
No,
helplessness as much as like letting go of whatever
or
the
being comfortable with letting
opposite of
go.
like letting go of the idea of like I do everything, right? Like whatever
Letting
the
go of
opposite of helplessness is, but
control.
helpfulness doesn't feel like the yeah, letting
Control.
go of control. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess that would be it. Or the need to like do things and min max or whatever, like because the game does have things for you to optimize, kind of like there are things that naturally you can do, um, but it never teaches
Amounting.
you those things. Stuff like the perfect pour.
Yeah. It's
Like
not
it's just kind of there
necessary.
for you to figure out,
You
but
can
it's
just
not
spill the tea
necessary.
every
But you
time.
could, yeah, exactly. Um, kind of, I don't know about like taking things at your own pace as much as like reevaluating the pace that you take things at
Hmm.
and giving you that chance to
Yes,
like
Queen,
take stock
spill
of
the tea.
it.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
was
Mm.
surprised at how quickly I went from loving the Pluffins to hating them.
Ah, is it because he kept stealing your shit?
Yeah, it's because of that freaking coffee mission where they can jump up onto the tables and steal
Oh
your coffee, and
yeah.
it happened to me 3 times, and I was like, no.
Ah, so funny, bro. I think
Yeah.
that, like, thinking back to, oh, especially like the coffee and the businessman and stuff, that was kind of a crazy, like,
Oh
little
yeah,
arc in the game.
that was yeah. I mean, what was the what do you think was the deal with the interdimensional character sort of like presenting this idea of like this magic solution that could just fix the thing, and then that being taken away by corporate culture or whatever.
I think I. Oh, I actually didn't even think about it that far into the metaphor, you know? Because,
Right.
like, to me, I was kind of looking at it, like, from the game's lens as a whole. Although, now that you mention it, it's kind of interesting to explore the thought. But when I was playing it, I viewed it more from the game's lens because it wasn't the first time the game, like, introduced to us a weirdish character that you feel like is gonna
Right.
pay off in some way, but actually doesn't. And so, like, I was already
Hmm.
kind of prepared for it to not pay off in any way at all. But
Yeah.
definitely it was one of the more, like, sort of painful examples of that because, like, it's really like a hammering the point home of, like, this person is really, or this being is, like, all powerful and has all this potential but decides to be a corporate businessman. Like, why? It feels
Yeah.
like so counter to, like, everything the game stands for in a way, but to me is teaching the lesson of, like, oh, some people are gonna like doing the thing that is perceived as, like, the thing that people shouldn't like to do, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But it brings them joy, and you can't really, like, place the stereotypes, I guess, on everyone. Like, there's no such thing as something that is, like, across the board bad, because
Right.
it's always gonna be subjective, being to being, person to person. Like, that was what I took away from it. I didn't even think that far into the metaphor of, like, a corporate greed.
No. There's assimilation.
You think it was? You think that was it? That was supposed to be it?
Mm, I don't know about like I think there is something to the I am putting a more cynical
Yeah.
lens or framing of the thing because it is like a very absurd sort of like really of all like wow of all things that they could choose to do with their power, and like this is what amuses them. It is a funny idea. um I guess I don't really know. I think for me the takeaway was more so like
Coffee bad.
or more so like you can't rely on someone else to fix the thing for you. I think it was the game was hammer like presenting this magical thing that can like in theory, or maybe I guess we won't ever really know, but it was sort of presented as like the most definitive case of like, oh, I can fix what's wrong with you, but then I took the sudden turn as the game being like, no, not really, because other people are unpredictable. You can't really rely on that.
Interesting. Because I feel like the not being able to rely on things maybe it didn't hit home with this character specifically, but it definitely hit home sometime earlier in the game. Because I feel like
Mm,
Alta had a lot of characters that were like, we can help you, this or that.
yeah,
And then it just never pans out each time.
that's true.
Because,
Yeah,
like, I figured the game was trying to hammer home the point of, like, the only person who can help you is yourself, and there are no shortcuts.
yeah.
I guess that's like the beauty of it as well, of like multiple interpretations for one thing, and everyone can kind of like take their own interpretation away with them.
Mhm.
Do you feel like there are people who cannot play this game?
I mean, from the fact that you asked that question, I, I feel like you already have an answer in mind. I
No,
don't
what
know.
what do you think though?
People who cannot play this game, I don't know. That's, I, I guess, like it would be people who, because what the game is trying to get you to do is just like slow down and think about it and not min max the hell out of it. So I guess like it would be min maxers, right?
But do you think like they
I
could come away with it, like, I don't know, learning a lesson about it?
maybe
Then
maybe it's
maybe,
possible
right?
because it's weird because it's like it's the hardest. It's it's the kind of like the hardest demographic, but also the target demographic,
Yeah, right.
right? So I guess I don't really know. Um,
It
I don't know.
actually gives me
It's hard to think
very
of.
a little
Yeah.
bit of like Undertale vibes in terms of like the
Hmm.
breaking of expectations and punishing players for
Right.
playing it the way that like most games are played.
Hmm. Yeah.
Because like
Well,
that
I
was
don't
the
know about.
entire
Yeah.
yeah thing of
I don't know if the
Undertale, right?
game ever really punishes you for anything. Really.
Mm, I
Maybe
don't
a
think
bit of
it
a
punishes
strong
you
term.
per se. Not the way like Undertale punishes you, like you go and meet Sans and he's like, haha, fuck you. But Megalovania, like
Yeah.
music stops five more, whatever. Not like
Right.
that. Um, but I think the game like quote unquote punishes you in the sense that like you won't feel typical kinds of like gratification from the gameplay. Like you can min
Hmm.
max it, they give you no reward, you know,
Right.
or you can like decorate really nicely and have really efficient procedure or whatever. The game fucking resets you.
Hmm.
So I feel like it does punish the player in that way because that's the point they're trying to make.
Right.
But I do think like with Reden's games in general, there is definitely like an audience who it's a bit divisive, right? There's definitely like
Hmm.
audiences who will love it and audiences who will like this doesn't, like, maybe you get the theory or the concept of it, but like it doesn't resonate with you because it's something that you don't feel personally, which is like kind of crazy a little, maybe a little, because like burnout is so pervasive now. But like I
Yeah.
definitely think that I know people who have never like experienced it in their lives. They just have like happy go lucky lives. I almost
Right.
like resent these people. Like, what do you mean? You have a happy go lucky life? What's that like? Damn.
All right. Mm, I guess to the end of like each character is a metaphor, or the story is a metaphor for something. I'm curious as to what your thoughts on the Master Winters plot kind of
Remind me,
meant.
Master Winters.
So Master Winters,
Who was
I
that
think
again?
it's Winters. It's the person who you're trying to find in the forest before you end up going to
Oh, right,
Toro's
right,
tea
right, right,
shop,
right,
and then
right, right.
you find them. It's later revealed actually,
You have
um,
already found them.
you did find them, and it went horribly, and you kind
Yeah.
of repressed that memory. So I'm curious as to what you thought about that like plot twist.
Huh. I mean, it was a very powerful plot
Hmm.
twist, I think. And then one that's like quite, I don't know, relevant to me personally, I guess. Maybe it
Hmm.
hit like less hard than it. I don't know if it hit more hard or less hard because it's something I could immediately like directly attribute to myself.
Hmm.
Um, because like I've always like described myself as a angry person, less so recently. Um, but also because
Nice.
like I have been putting in the work to be like mindful about my emotions and like regulating myself actively more, you know? And I always thought it was like, oh, because the main thing with like having ADHD is that you have an underdeveloped amygdala, which is the part of your brain that controls emotional output.
Hmm.
And so like people with ADHD are like always very excitable or very like loud or very angry, and they can't really like control it instinctively.
Hmm.
They can only like control it by becoming more aware of like your emotions as they're happening and then regulating on the spot rather than like, I mean, I wouldn't even know what like normal looks like, but for me it's a very active like process of like I'm
Right.
always aware of like how I'm presenting myself and then like actively regulating um the way I'm presenting. I always struggled with like anger specifically as a emotion, and then like medication helped a lot with that because I mean, they say this like a lot with neurodivergence of having more like spoons, right? Because
Hmm.
initially I thought that my medication was helping with mood suppression, and I was like, oh, that's helpful because I took it and I felt calmer and like not so angry or whatever. And then my um psychologist was like, no. He said, nope, that's not one of the side effects. I said, oh,
Hmm. Hmm.
so it's more of like it just gave me more spoons, so my mind wasn't like
Hmm.
so loud all the time. So I actually had like enough bandwidth left over to like actively monitor my like feelings. Not that it was suppressing my mood or anything,
Hmm.
but like having your brain be really noisy can also be really overwhelming, and then leads to like it being really stressful and like amplifying like more of the stress and frustration and anger type of emotion. So like I guess makes sense. And I totally lost my point already. What was I gonna say? Oh
You're
yeah,
talking about how the Master
Master
Winters thing
Winters.
was like
Yeah.
personally relevant. Because I
Yeah.
guess the narrative presents it as an interesting case where it's like, okay, like for the most part, it was an explanation of how like this kind of fear of burnout or this quest to like keep on moving or whatever was harmful to Alta, and then this is the first case where it's sort of externalized. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's harmful to others.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's common in life and in narration that like
hmm,
start to realize the severity of what you're going through when it starts to impact other people.
right.
because you can get used to a lot of things when it's just like living within you, because you kind of like adopt it as like, oh, this is just what life is like, because what other measure would you have, right? What other benchmark would you
Hmm.
have of what life is like except like how you live life, which is kind of the
Right.
tricky part. But then as when something gets so bad that like it affects other people, and then they also point out to you that like this is bad, and they react badly, and you have that like experience that Alta had, then you like, that's always, I think, in both like the game and real life, like that's the point where people are like, oh, this is serious. And then
Right.
you need to take time to like digest that you've done the bad thing, which is, I think, the toughest
Hmm.
part. And then only putting in the work to
Yeah.
try not to do the bad thing again.
Hmm. Yeah, which is, I mean, it's interesting to tie that back sort of to beginner's guide because there's a common theme there with the bad thing being done to Coda in that game, right?
Yeah, because the game doesn't give you
Where
closure in
yeah,
the beginner's
or
guide.
I guess it's sort of a parallel with I think there could be a common thread drawn between Alta and like Davy's character from the beginner's guide because it's all about their quest for completeness,
Oh yeah,
I guess,
totally.
rather than say the greatness, and then them seeking that in other people, and then what happens when they don't get that um,
Completeness is such a
thing they
good
want.
no, completeness is
Yeah,
such a good description of it. Yeah,
thank you.
because you're not necessarily looking for like victory or competence. It is more tied to like completeness and purpose, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, it is borrowed from the beginner's guide because that literally he says is like I need to feel good about
Yeah,
myself. I need this to feel like complete. Um, which I guess that idea kind of you can see how like the seeds of that were in the beginner's guide, and then
yeah.
that idea is continued with Alta's quest for like instead of like feeling good and getting praise about games that they didn't make, it's about like being able to fight and like win all the time, which also kind of an unreasonable like thing
Yeah.
to want, right?
In a way, like that kind of makes Wanderstop more palatable, right?
Right.
Like it's a almost like a simplified like presentation of the same idea.
Yeah, with less like meta up obfuscation or like did Davey
Yeah.
actually do this? Is this a real guy?
I mean, you could have just some version of this, right?
Yeah.
You don't like mental health is very templated. That's why they have the book, the textbook, the checklist
Right.
of like, did your child kill a squirrel when he was young? Maybe he's a psychopath. Like it's
Yeah.
so
Oh
templated to
gosh.
that point,
Yeah.
Like it
Yeah,
was
for
kind
sure.
of crazy. Okay, sorry, this tangent. It like you
Mhm.
really start to realize how much of like um life is just various things like mixing together to predictable outcomes.
Mhm.
Um, and like this was a in-depth conversation I had with like Brownie, but it was more like
Oh
related to
wow.
the types of fanfic I write and how it makes sense
Oh okay.
considering the problems I have and the life I've
I
led, right?
was I
Which
was just like,
I'll be
wow,
happy
you're
to
a
have this
determinist, and
conversation with you another time off stream.
yeah, yeah, jeez,
but like
oh my god.
but like also it was literally what I learned in like psych class, right? Because I took this it was structured like every um is this semester module
Uh huh.
focuses on like a different school of psychology, I guess. Or
Okay.
category. So it was like um for
I think a
example
school of thought is
developmental.
like yeah.
It
Mhm.
wasn't really school of thought. It was like developmental psychology. and
I
then
see. Okay.
personality psychology. And so
Mm.
the module will like focus specifically on those theories that fall in that category.
Mm.
And then in my final year, I think I got to take abnormal psychology, which is kind of crazy because it's like psychopathy, sociopathy,
Yeah.
narcissism, you know.
Wow.
And they'll literally tell you like, so one of the key indicators that your child may be a psychopath is if they are within ages this and this, and they have been caught like inflicting harm onto smaller creatures than it, animals, bugs,
Wow.
like putting them through like torture.
Oof.
Oh, you have a
Mm.
psychopath, congrats. Like
Them.
it's pretty crazy. Because you think
Yeah.
of all these people as like edge cases or whatever, but it must be common enough that they can like create a checklist.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I guess I don't know. Maybe it's hard to diagnose, but that's like a huge red flag. It's like, okay, like if not, hard to say, but if yes, like run or like do something.
Crazy, right? And yeah, I totally forgot. We tangented off. I forgot. What was our
Yeah.
original point?
Completeness.
Oh yeah. No, I don't even remember what I was gonna say in regards to that. Uh,
Yeah, I have no clue either. Um,
but yeah, I do like the interpretation of completeness.
mm,
I think it's something you strive for when you feel like incomplete in some way, and like if you remember Alta doing all of her because she gets like side story, right? Or she gets backstory when you do the
right. Yeah.
tea drinking. Because basically in the game, there's a
Mm,
mechanic where you drink different teas to try the effects. Because each tea does a different thing to you. Sometimes it's
mm,
just like funny, haha, hee hee things, and then sometimes like she talks about a memory that she's had. And then there's a few right that like go into like her relationship with her parents, her childhood, and like when you look at that, like, oh wait, yeah, no wonder she's on a hunt for like purpose and completeness,
right.
because like her parents were like that, or her dad was like that. I
Mm,
don't quite remember like exactly the story, but I guess I remember
yeah.
enough that she had some kind of problem there that is never really
Yeah. So
addressed actually
yeah,
anywhere.
some sort of like troubled childhood, like the dad lost a job or something like that, and the
Or
mom.
oh, I remember, yeah, it was something along the lines of like she felt like her dad was not being responsible enough or something
Right.
like that. Like that's why she felt the
Something
need
like
to like
that.
always step up and always like be
Yeah.
more responsible. Something like that.
Something.
Mm, no sculpture lights. Oh, so anyway, nobody's unique. We're all just templates.
Hmm.
Everything
Damn.
can be attributed back to something. Uh, what's the small platform trims?
It's this thing right here, but I don't know which part's the dirty part.
Maybe I can. Oh,
Okay, we got it.
cool.
Nice.
Wanna do like one more before we like go back to working? I guess
Sure. Let me see what's
I have a bit of time.
okay.
We can do something you haven't done because I think I've done everything else.
I think so too. Sculpture Park clean. I think I. Oh wait, that's a paid one. Okay. Uh,
I might have a paid one also. Like, which one is it? Oh, or you don't
but
have
don't
it?
we both need to have to? Yeah,
Oh, okay, 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 okay. You can
we
pick the
we
one that
both.
you
Yeah,
have. I think I have all the paid ones. I've given them so much money. It's kind of crazy.
I guess I'll just continue Midgar again since that one is like
It's just not gonna save again though. We're gonna do co-op.
maybe it will because I'm the host. I would hope so.
Was I the host last time?
I think so.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh no, it
Uh,
ended the thing. Hold on, let me try again.
I got your. Hmm,
Mhm.
got it.
Oh
Oh, man, I remember this being a pain.
yeah.
What was the most like emotionally resonant part of the game for you?
Mm,
Because I think I was like, the textbook audience for the game, but I'm curious about you.
yeah. No, I think generally speaking, I also tend to have very textbook developer intended experiences. Besides, skipping the entire like emotionally
the
resonant monster
Oh man. No,
subplot.
you are role playing too hard.
Yeah, no, I was like, this is the character. This is what they said they wanted the whole
This
time.
is the problem of a D&D player.
Yeah, damn, wow, roasted. But yeah, I think a lot of the game was pretty like solid in terms of the cast and characters and the interactions because they hit you strong with the first one being Gerald.
Oh man.
Yeah, like I think that was already like whoa, very dark kind of way to kick off the plot of the game, which is like not everyone can be helped.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm sure if I go back and like break it down, like I can point out a lot of the like things that my therapist has been telling me to like learn
right,
and attribute it back to like individual characters. Because it
right.
is a lot about like, you know, I think I mentioned this to you like off stream, but like there was one
Hmm.
time where I was being explained the concept of you can help but don't save.
Hmm.
Like you can your responsibility as a human being, you can be helpful, but like if you get to the point of like you're saving this person, then it becomes like too emotionally like it's not an emotional burden for you to bear. That's when you're bearing unnecessary emotional burden. Because like although it
Right.
feels bad, not to save someone from a situation where you like know what to do and whatever, but like it's not your problem. um and even if you do it like once, I think the problem is like you do it once and then you keep doing it and then eventually it like saps away at you no matter what, and like by right everyone should be like um responsible for themselves and not like have other people be responsible for them. Not to that level.
Right. Yeah.
Which is like immediately I think the thing that is like taught with the knight, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
You feel bad too because the guy like you saw this coming, you know.
Yeah.
But the game
Oh,
forces you to let go.
yeah. Which is just a strong one. I think other interactions that
Did
stood
you see
out
all
like
his like
the
kids photos?
oh yeah, I went through every single one.
Yeah, I
Um,
felt really emotionally attached to him.
yeah, that was really sad. Mm, there's also the other like fighter guy with the mask.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The guy who like his hand or something, right, gets chopped off.
Yeah, yeah. I think that was also like a pretty poignant interaction or subplot of like the guy initially being on your side and then when you're like, no, I can't. And he's like, what do you mean? I don't believe you.
I think he actually compared to like Monster. Monster is like kind of like very young version of Alta, right?
Right.
But like that guy, I think is like early career Alta. Like he feels like a mirror for
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Because like he's still
Or
kind of like delulu about it as he leaves, and he's
mm,
like, it doesn't matter if I only have one hand. I'm gonna train myself to become like the best one-handed. Whatever, I can still be the best.
right.
You know, but you can already kind of like see the hints of
Yeah.
this guy's gonna be at the tea shop in a few years, kind of thing.
Right. Hmm.
But it's also kind of a weird one. Like when the characters show up and they have Alta's existing problems, or like are about to have her current problems, it always is a bit weird
Right.
because she hasn't solved
Yeah.
her problems yet. So it's like,
Yeah.
oh,
Right. Right. Or even the I mean with Monster as well. I guess Monster also is not really a character in isolation because you have that paired with Nana being like, don't fuck up that kid.
oh yeah, and then you fucked up the kid.
And then
Fjord.
and then maybe you fuck up the kid. I don't know. Like I fucked up the kid.
I didn't. I guess I don't
I
know.
yeah. I unfortunately I fucked up the kid.
Nana's.
But
I think
yeah,
Nana's the only character I was a bit like, huh. Okay, what's her point?
yeah. She had a very like complex deal going on.
Was she just like, oh, I'm here to add? To me, she was very much like, I'm here to add flavor. Maybe add
Yeah,
like world building lore, because you learn that she's like kind of a otherworldly, like she's beyond the time, whatever, timey wimey, dimensional, whatever. She's like Borrow level, right?
yeah. Oh, but that was a very funny interaction where it's like you're in the last couple chapters of the game, and then you hit the point where you have to change seasons, and then your dialogue literally always was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna miss hearing you talk, Nana." And Nana's immediately like, "Shut the fuck up! Like, what do you mean? I'm here."
Oh my god, I don't remember
What are
that.
you talking
Is it
about?
possible?
No,
No,
it
I think
was
I never went to
yeah. I think.
talk to her. I didn't go
Oh
and
my
talk to her
gosh.
after. Yeah, because I just
Oh
assumed that
man,
everyone
you
shuts
went
up.
straight to the season
Oh
skip. Yeah.
yeah,
Oh man.
she says
Yeah.
that.
No, that.
Oh,
Well, I don't think she says like "shut the fuck up," but it's something along those lines. It's like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, I'm not like the others." Like,
that's so funny.
yeah.
She does feel like a flavor character to me. Not necessarily
Mm,
like more like a chaos edition. Doesn't really like
right.
teach you anything per se, except to introduce a shop system that doesn't really mean anything. I guess another thing to add to
Mm,
the game that like doesn't amount to anything,
yeah.
just to re-emphasize a point. But like other than that, is like I don't really think she you know had like some unique or very like profound lesson to teach or whatever.
I guess it would have been the part with Monster because that's the only time when she
Oh, like don't
does
screw up the kid.
get
Yeah.
anywhere remotely near like profound territory of like, I could feel when people are at a very
Crossroads. Yeah,
pivotal,
yeah.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
so
I guess
don't
so.
fuck up the kid. Yeah.
So how did it feel when you fucked up the kid?
Well,
Did
I
you
guess
know that
I
you
didn't
fucked up
know
the
it
kid?
was.
Oh,
No,
you
I
didn't know
didn't.
until
I wouldn't have
you watched me
because
play it, and then you were like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
really?
I wouldn't have known. Yeah, because as far as like, because the cutscene is
So I
literally
ruined
you
it for you.
grab the sword, you pass out. So it's left open ended in that case.
Oh,
Because the
Fjord.
result is the same, but yeah,
So how
you
shocked were
miss
you
a
when
lot
you
of
saw
stuff.
my playthrough?
Yeah,
Because
I
I
was
remember
very
you were like,
surprised,
what?
especially considering it's like it's a 15-minute long scene,
Oh, it's very long,
and for me
yeah.
it was over in like it's a
Yep,
very long scene, and for me it was like over in seconds.
yep.
Um,
Oh man.
so yeah, my altar learned nothing.
Oh man. I feel like the game is kind of like open ended in that way, no? Of
Yeah,
like you can sort of end the game and it is sort of like you can choose the dialogue options that are like, oh, I don't feel any different or whatever. It very actively like acknowledges the whole like it's a journey and
yeah,
everyone's gonna like heal at different speeds and you could basically just end the game without like having made much progress with
yeah.
yourself or anything.
Or
There's
you
no
could
like
just stay in
win
the game
state.
for however damn long you want. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It does definitely feel like the kind of game of like if you never felt this kind of thing before, like oh yeah, back to the beginner's guide thing, right? Like
Mm,
I do think like Wanderstop has more to offer in terms
mm,
of like palatability. Like you're gonna take
right,
something away from this regardless of whether you have ever experienced burnout before in your life, because there's something
right.
kind of there. You can take the metaphor and run with it more
Mm.
versus like if you don't resonate with the beginner's guide, you don't resonate with the beginner's guide, full stop.
Right, because it's also much less of a metaphor, or much less presenting as a metaphor, right? Like I feel like the conversation around the beginner's guide is much more meta to like
It's very specific.
it's less so about the themes of the game, is more so how real is this, um,
Hmm.
which yeah I do feel because Wanderstop took a more like obviously fictional direction. I feel like the conversation around it can be a lot more conducive.
True. Although I did feel like with beginner's guide, like regardless of whether how much of this is real or whatever, um, I really did resonate with like the
Mm,
especially the final monologue.
right.
Like it's refreshing as a consumer because you don't typically play as the bad guy, right? What
Mm,
more the bad guy who ends the game without learning anything, or like basically at the start of possibly realizing something but doesn't actually realize it during the course of the game.
right. Or even the process of starting the game is already you're fully going down the wrong path.
Yeah.
The game is just a further descent into that. Like it was a great twist. But I don't know. I think there is also something to that effect of like media literacy and how powerful perspective is, right? In like viewing the narrative from any given perspective. Like you can play as the bad guy, but because it's told from the bad guy's perspective,
You like kind of
you
empathize with
you
him.
identify with them, and then
Yeah.
like to empathize with them, and I guess it can be so strong to the point that like people kind of hand wave away any moral questions in favor of like viewing the protagonist, because they're protagonists, they must be good in some way.
Yeah.
Um, like you see that happen with The Last of Us, right?
Yeah. I mean, to me, that's what I think. That's also like always my thing with like trying to explain why I liked The Last of Us. I liked it because it was morally challenging.
Yeah, but then that also explains like that effect is so strong that the whiplash in part two like triggered the reaction that it did.
Yeah.
um, Even though like honestly to me like it made sense. It made sense as part of like how they established the world to be, and like yeah.
I'm also kind of like as a I have to always, I don't know, um adjust my expectations versus others because I actively love to like seek out stories like this.
Hmm.
Maybe that says something about me. I don't know. Um Maybe, perhaps. You know. Um
Canon rear.
like if I can be, completely honest about it, right? For me it's a very similar thing to um like I resonate a lot with Princess Bubblegum, if you're familiar with like Adventure Time, the deeper
No,
Adventure Time lore.
I'm not.
So do you mind spoilers?
No, not at all.
Okay. Because like um I think the genius of like Adventure Time is its overarching narrative. The problem is that it takes so long to get there, right? And you have to like watch even all the stupid stuff to get to the like overarching really challenging narrative stuff that I'm about to like talk about. And they don't even like really emphasize on it in a because it still is meant to be like a Monster of the Week format type
Right.
thing. So like something can be brought up in passing, and you can choose to like read into it and add that to your context of the character, but you can also like just not care about it and the show still works.
Right.
Um,
Filler
but
episodes and whatnot. Very familiar. I've watched all of Naruto.
have you really the anime?
Yeah, I've watched
Oh
all of
man.
Naruto, but with Shippuden I used the filler guide.
Oh,
But
okay,
even
okay.
then, like it's not perfect. There are some episodes that are half plot relevant, half filler.
Like
So I was
clearly
watching,
filler.
and then suddenly halfway through, like this is in the late like Great Ninja War, like close to the Great Ninja
Uh
War
huh.
arc. Um, and then I'm just watching this thing where like Naruto has to go do this important training thing, and then suddenly halfway through the episode, Condor the talking ninja ostrich shows
Huh?
up, and I'm like, what?
Wait,
Yeah,
wait,
like
wait.
there's just straight up a talking ostrich character, and I'm like, did I did I read the wrong number on the guide? Like, did I miss something?
What?
Yeah, no, because so it's like half of the episode subplot. Yeah, like I shit you not. I was like, who? What do you mean?
Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
I'm manga only. I am
Anyways,
also manga only. So this is perplexing.
anyway, sorry,
The
we were talking about
ostrich what?
Adventure Time. Condor the ninja ostrich. I think that was,
But was Condor his like English name for the English sub?
yeah,
So
it's his English name, and he's just a talking ostrich, and then he has this whole subplot with like a bunch of
hold
other
on, I
talking
gotta Google
animals, and I'm
this.
just like, yeah, please.
Condor the talking ostrich. Naruto. Oh, actually, it's just a. Oh no. The other characters are all just giant animals as well. There's a giant koala, and a giant penguin, and a giant hippo, and a giant gorilla.
Yeah, and it's so
Kondoru.
late in the game that it's like
Kondoru was
literally
a runaway pet that
right.
was hunted down by Team 7 who was tasked to retrieve it. However, he managed to escape and became the leader of the 4 ninja animal warriors. He
Yeah.
considers Naruto Uzumaki his rival who prevented his freedom.
It was such a wild time for it to come into the plot because it's like if you scroll down and I'm guessing the wiki article you're reading, it's like his next appearance is literally right before the big like fourth Shinobi World War, which is like a high stakes point in the story, and then this guy just shows up. I was like,
He's
what?
in the
Am I on the
Naruto
right
mobile
show?
game.
Oh god.
Oh my god. Holy shit.
Right. Oh,
That's crazy.
this is insane. It was actually insane. Um,
Which is the cannon? Cannon barrels? That's a cannon barrel. Cannon casing. Claw. Um. Oh, but yeah. Anyway, Adventure Time.
yes.
I Adventure Time is kind of a strange one for me because like if people are interested in watching it I always recommend they do watch it. But like I also understand that like it's a lot to get through. It's almost like it's worse than Steven Universe, right? Because Steven Universe gets
Right.
pretty like plot relevant after you get past like the silliness of season 1, right? And after that, a lot of the
Mm.
episodes are plot relevant. But then like in Adventure Time, it's kind of like most things are not plot relevant, and then very few things are, and then like that's when the payoff happens. If you're looking
Right.
for that, which is quite difficult. I mean, you can watch it if you wanna like have fun and keep it in the background or whatever, but it's not like a. It's very silly. Um, but yeah, the basically, like I always put down Princess Bubblegum when there's like a character um those like characters like me kind of thing. Cause like she initially in like season 1 is presented as this very like typical. She's like the damsel in distress, right? Because um Finn is like the prince or the adventurer. He's like Link, you know. And then
Mhm.
um Princess Bubblegum is meant to be like the Zelda slash like Princess Peach, more like Princess Peach, I guess, because she's very like pink and very, you know. So Finn's entire thing is like he has a crush on her and he wants to like save her because he's like her knight, kind of.
Mhm.
Although he's
Mhm.
like a knight who wears like t-shirt and shorts, lah, right? And so that's her character at first, and then as it progresses, then you start to learn more about her, which is that she is a scientist first and foremost. You
Mhm.
learn that she's like a she's almost like a mad scientist type character, right? Because you find out that she is a princess of the Candy Kingdom that she created. Like
Oh,
she created every single one of her um citizens, and it's never portrayed as something that is supposed to be bad, but it clearly kind of is, that you
it's the
genetically modified
WandaVision
your.
kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, quite actually, because like as you like one of her main like plot points as a character is that she actually had a family, right? And this kind of like adds to her um building up empathy for her, right? Because you find out that she used to have an uncle and an aunt, but then they were crazy, right? Like her uncle
Mm.
especially was sort of like wanting to be a dictator. And then
Mhm.
she had a brother. She has a brother actually as well who resides like at the bottom of the Candy Kingdom. And she builds the hi burrito. She builds the Candy Kingdom as a way to like protect him because when they because it is presented like it is a post-apocalyptic um story, right? Adventure Time, like you can
Mm.
see it in the opening song, right? There's a mushroom cloud, things go crazy. So actually she's like a piece of
Right.
bubblegum that gains sentience after because of radiation. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and so back when like she gained like when she gained sentience the first time, she came into being with her brother, but her brother didn't fully develop into like human being level intelligence like she did. The brother like is sort
Mm.
of like a more like animal level intelligence, and
I
like I
see.
guess it's meant to be like very thinly veiled, like um extreme autism kind of thing, because the brother is basically like giant and can't really like communicate verbally and has like very extreme reactions to like bad stimulus and everything like that, you know. And so she builds the
Mm.
Candy Kingdom to like protect him, right? And then the reason why the reason why she has all these like candy citizens is also because her uncle sort of like triggers that. Like her uncle is also a scientist, I guess, and like um creates this like dum dum serum that when it's like poured onto
Oh.
a person turns them into like a piece of candy, like sentient candy that like is super dumb, which is why everyone in the Candy Kingdom is dumb, right?
Oh.
And so she ends up creating a whole the like for one reason or another the dum dum serum gets on her uncle and her aunt when he was trying to pour it on her, right? And then
Oh.
she engineers the rest of the Candy Kingdom. No dum dum serum, I don't think so. She literally creates them to kind of disguise the fact that her aunt and uncle are like part of the citizens there. And also she wants, you know, companionship because she's the only thing there on Earth. Like this sentient piece of gum. And so like that is her big like empathy moment, but like she does a lot of like dubious mad scientist, like kind of low key evil, high key evil kind of stuff throughout the duration of the series. But like her as a character and
Right.
that kind of like character is so interesting to me.
Mm. I see. Yeah. Damn. That is a hell of a lore drop.
Yeah, but the whole like uncle aunt thing is like very, you know, end series lore drop.
Right.
The apocalypse thing less so. It gets brought up like earlier and then expanded on
Right.
throughout. But very good shit. I don't know. I'm very like drawn to characters who are. I mean, obviously, it's characters who are like kind of morally dubious and
Mm.
not very like necessarily good leaning or bad leaning, more like, you know, they're a victim of their circumstance.
Right.
Because I think those characters are like way more interesting as like character studies than your typical like good guy or bad guy, which is why I liked, you know, The Last of Us then, because I thought it was an interesting character study.
Mm.
And even though like I know the average player like would definitely hate it because you want to play as the hero, you know, you want to feel like what you're doing is good. You don't want to come away from like a 80-hour experience feeling guilty by I thrive in
Right.
that shit. Like and maybe because it's also like um resonant with me, right? Because um you know, I had a very like rough go of like this ADHD thing because it for me like manifested in a lot of anger.
Mm.
And so through sort of like seeing fictional characters that are like that, it kind of is a bit comforting, I guess.
Representation.
I guess. Anyway, all that's to say is I really like the ending monologue of Beginner's Guide. Like,
Yeah.
you seldom get stories that like go there because it really
Right.
makes you feel bad. But
Right.
it's always gonna be like a bit divisive because it's like, oh, is it gonna be so make you feel so bad that people are not gonna like the game as a result of it?
Yeah.
I loved it though.
Yeah. I mean, and also like media literacy is increasingly dying.
Oh my god, can we guys? I'm so sorry. This is such a spoiler heavy episode. If you don't want to be spoiled for Severance, kindly leave. But like, can we
Oh
talk
god.
about the ending of Severance season 2? Because like, media
Oh
literacy is
yeah.
dead. What do people not understand characterization anymore? Like,
My god. What do you mean media literacy is that? I thought the ending of season two, like, was there a lot of
yes,
oh gosh.
there was so much debate about it because people thought like it was bad writing. And I was like, huh?
Because
This
they
is the
didn't get the payoff
only
that they wanted. Like,
yeah. No, I was like, this is the only ending that would made sense to me.
no, yeah, well, no,
Yeah, people were like, why the hell didn't like why did he go back for Helly? This is so bad, like bad ending. I was like, huh?
no, that they it absolutely made sense that he would do
Yeah,
that. Like, what do you mean?
yeah, yeah. So like that's the state of the world.
Damn.
It's like I'm here for the gut punch. Please twist the knife. Like that was such a good ending to me. But I
Yeah,
think people were like, yeah, no. It's like they want the satisfying ending, right?
yeah. Which I mean, it was satisfying in a way,
It
because
was
it's like,
satisfying
oh,
to me. Like I don't
well,
know.
yeah, damn.
It's kind of warped, right? The way that people like view um what is a good ending or what is a bad ending. Like I guess it makes
Right.
you think about like what different kinds of people want to get from the media that they consume. Because clearly the
Hmm.
people who thought it was a bad ending are people who just want to have like clean closure or something that makes them feel good and then can sleep. You know, you can watch it and go to sleep.
Right. But it's not that kind. It's never been that kind of show.
Exactly.
That's the thing. Like, I guess,
No, but people will go into it. They watch it because it's popular. They're like, "Ooh, the
like
mystery,
the
whatever."
light at the end of the
Yeah,
tunnel,
yeah.
like, oh, happy ending will make it all worth it. I'm like, no.
No, I don't. I genuinely don't think Severance will get a happy ending. I don't want it to.
Yeah.
Kind of like, I want to see how far they go.
Right. Them.
But that's just that was like, I mean, expected, I guess. But man,
Yeah. It's not. Yeah. It's not even a twist because
it's not. It's
like
not.
it's
It
what they were
really
building up
isn't.
to the whole
Yeah,
damn time. Like,
this is the main theme of the show. What do you mean?
yeah.
Like they even set it up, like the fact that even Mark himself doesn't view his own Innie as a person, and he's about like viewing it as evil as like the others.
Yeah. Or even like the whole sequence of like the innies like revolutioning. It's like choosing their lives over the Audis, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I was like,
taking
oh, these people
taking
are like
back what
missing
matters to
some
them. Yeah.
major points of the show.
Yeah.
Damn, I'm surprised you didn't hear about this like ending discourse because it was kind of
I
everywhere.
I didn't know there was a lot of discourse. I thought it was just like, whoa, what an ending. I didn't think there were people genuinely who were like, oh, it's a bad ending. Like
Oh,
I've
I
never
think
seen
because I was
anyone
like
who was that.
watching season 2 as it was coming out, or
As
around the
a,
time that
okay,
like
fair
people
enough.
were still like talking about it.
Right, I
Yeah,
see.
yeah. I Brownie and I like binged the entire thing to catch up to the point where like when season 2 finale dropped, we watched it when everyone else watched it.
Oh, I see. I guess maybe I'll have that experience with season three, whenever
Yeah.
that ends up dropping.
Yeah, it was kind of stupid, but
Late to the party. Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. Or I think there's also a thing is like kids these days can't read unless it's in first person or something.
oh man. Hi Ben.
I
I
hello.
think we can stop after this level. Unless this level's gonna take
Okay.
longer than I expected. It is kind of a
How
lot of
much
nooks
longer
and
is
crannies.
how much longer is expected? We're at 40% from zero.
Oh, okay. I think that's fine. We can finish this level and then work, I guess. It's not yet midnight, so I'm okay.
Yeah.
But I do need to like jump back to work at some point.
Yeah.
Ben also says hi Fjord.
Hello. I'm feeling really sleepy, but I've also kind of been on perma sleep like all today. So
Like
I
you're
don't know
sleepy
what
from
will be
sleeping too much, is it?
sort of, yeah. So I don't really know what I should be doing. Like I've kind of just had oversleep headache on the whole day. I was even saying earlier before you hopped on stream, I was like, oh, I don't know how coherent I will be, uh,
You're pretty coherent.
given the state of my brain isn't. Thank you.
How have you been though, Fjord? I feel like I've been talking a lot. I mean, I'm happy to carry the conversation.
No, yeah, no, I've been, yeah, it's been good. It's been good. I think a lot of things helped. I think talking and whatever, having something to do with the brain other than sleeping more is good. I did also take like some Panadol.
Huh? What do you mean it took 7 Panadols?
I took some. I took some. I not seven Panadol.
Oh,
What?
okay.
No.
Jesus Christ. I was like, how are you still standing?
No,
Well,
that would
sitting.
actually yeah. I'm pretty sure that would actually like
Yep. No, no doubt about it. No.
hospitalize someone. Like yeah. But yeah, I guess are we barreling towards some sort of like conclusion?
I think
Re
so.
the Wanderstop conversation.
Yeah. I think we covered a lot of what I wanted to talk about with the game.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know if we dived a lot into specifics because it's also been a long time since we both touched
Yeah,
the game.
that's true. It's not as fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do think it's really
Well, yeah.
interesting, and it's I
I
don't
do
know,
think it aged well.
it's refreshing for um I review a lot of games now and trying to up my like media consumption for other things, and you're always on the hunt for something that'll make you feel a little bit different, or at least I'm on the hunt out for things that'll make you feel a little bit different. mm, And I think it's
Hmm.
oh man, I have to tell you something my therapist told me.
Oh yeah.
Because I think it's it's made me like rethink a couple of things about myself. Um like because I'm a INTJ, right?
Hmm.
Which is a largely like unemotional MBTI to have. Um
Right. Intellectual
uh
thinking,
introverted.
judge. Yeah,
Introverted
like as introverted
thinking
something.
oh wait, yeah,
I
you're
forgot what
right.
the N is. And then
Intuitive.
J is judgment. Intuitive. Yeah. Right. Right. Right.
Yeah. So it's a very
It's
like
very cerebral. Yeah.
I don't know. I maybe this will change. I doubt it. Um not anytime soon, I guess. But I'm not like a very like empathetic person by nature, which is why I like part of what I'm trying to do with regards to like self improvement is to at least I don't know intellectually become aware of like where empathy is needed if I can't feel it
Right.
inherently, you know. Because like whether you like it or not, empathy is like a big part of the human experience and like ultimately we all want to like connect with people. Although some people are like you know they can feel it instinctively and you know I can't really.
Right.
Whether you know it's a developed coping mechanism or whatever it is.
Well, yeah, I'm
um
always
but
reluctant
some
to
people are
say
like
things like
I don't know.
can't or whatever. I think it's just it's very possible that like I mean the circuitry's there. Um, maybe it could be, I guess, for lack of a better term, like skill issue in terms
Yeah,
of like
Shu.
I don't know,
Fjord.
identifying or whatever.
I
But like I
bro, I
mean
did not just like
I
tell you I
no.
struggle with like
I
understanding
mean
people.
it in
You
the
said
sense of
skill
like
issue.
I mean in the sense of like
Bro,
there is
that's
a danger
crazy.
to over intellectualizing or trying to intellectualize like emotional things, right? And I say this because I also very much fall in that bucket. I don't know. I've been all over the spectrum in terms of the Myers Briggs. Like I'm pretty sure I was INTJ at one point, if not the first thing I tested was INTJ, and I've like gone through and every time I've taken the test,
It's something
um,
different. It is a
yeah, or
self-report
each
test,
of the
which is
four
known to
categories
do
have
that. Yeah.
which has like each of the four categories has flipped at least once. I think I've the most recent one was like ENFJ or ESTP or something like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I guess I just never really am tied strongly to the idea of like, oh, like this is how I am, I can't do this. Um,
Yeah,
because
that's true.
that's like a very strong like ego thing. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? It's like no, maybe you
True.
could, but saying that you can't means that you're not even going to entertain like trying,
True.
right?
That's also the
Yeah.
kind of thinking I'm trying to like um abandon over time, you know. Um it's one of the things I'm looking to unlearn, you know. Um but anyway, getting back to the point of before I forget.
Yes. Therapy.
We
Yes.
can come back to this, but before I forget. But it's been very funny because like, you know, earlier I was explaining how like cognitive behavioral therapy is very much like learning how to understand concepts and then applying it in your life. So like one of
Mm.
the first things someone who is going to like cognitive behavioral therapy might have to go through is like go back with homework and like you know you have this problem, but the therapist wants to know like what scenarios in which like the problem emerges and then um to so that they can like better understand like okay how does the problem present itself and then what are the usual triggers like is it parents, is it work, is it like this or that. So like they'll usually send you back with like that kind of homework, but like um I wasn't I think I was pretty clear and I was able to give like examples, so he didn't have to go through like that part of the exercise with me. But it was kind of funny because like consistently every single time he sits down with me, he always has this comment of like, "Oh yeah, you understand. This is like what you're describing is the complex version of what I was getting around to. But let me tell you
Right.
about the fundamentals first,"
Yeah.
which is just hilarious. I think it applies like across the board for a lot of things for me. Cause like
Yeah.
I will super like seek out stories that are like a little bit like morally challenging or like messed up or whatever it is. But for the life of me, I cannot like um contend with simpler emotions.
Right.
Like it doesn't hit enough. I don't know. And maybe that says something about like the intensity of things that I feel on a daily basis. Or maybe it's that like I've already, learned the lessons that you should learn from like all the simpler character archetypes and everything, and I need something more like challenging, maybe.
Mm.
But it's just very funny to go into therapy and have the guy like tell you like, oh, that's funny, you don't struggle with the more complex half of this, but let's talk about why you struggle with the first half.
Wow.
It was like yeah, one of the recent sessions, like he was also high nose. One of the recent sessions was like um talking about being passive versus being assertive versus being aggressive, right? Because you want to be assertive because it protects you and it protects others, um, like it's setting boundaries and stuff like that, right? Versus being passive is
Mm.
like giving up too much of yourself. Being assertive is sorry, being aggressive is like imposing too much on others, right? Or basically just being aggressive. And he was explaining to me like, here's the processes that people usually struggle with when they're like trying to be assertive for the first time. And then like I had no problems with I described having no problems with things like having confidence in my um having confidence in my like believing that my problems are valid, like I had no
Right.
problems in that. I had no problems like consistently asserting boundaries, right? But I did have
Mhm.
problems about communicating clearly what I need and want, or clearly communicating like observations, um, and like expressing it calmly and stuff like that. And so he was like, "Huh,
I see.
I
Wow.
think I'm a very interesting
Yeah.
client for him."
I mean, valid struggles, honestly. Um, this is somewhat unrelated tangent, and
Hi, Purple.
dude, chalk this up fully to like in The Simpsons when it's well,
Oh.
like cuts to Homer, and then it like just zooms into his head, and then there's like a monkey with the the clapping thing. Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
really what's going on in my brain. But when you
Oh
mentioned like
no.
be aggressive, this is completely unrelated, but like this is just a brainworm that entered my head the other day, and I don't know where it came from, and I don't know, but it's been stuck there, and I haven't been able to get rid of it. Like, like be aggressive is like a chant, like a cheer, like be aggressive, be aggressive, right?
Oh my
And
god,
but
yeah.
for some reason, my brain came up with a version that was like pay attention, PA
Oh
attention, and
no!
it
That's the
makes no sense
ADHD
because it doesn't
cheer
even
chant.
yeah, yeah, literally the ADHD cheat,
Oh
and
my
it's kind of just
god.
been like a mental like stim,
Oh
like not
my
even a vocal
god.
stim because I haven't said it out loud, but it's just
Also,
it entered my brain and I was like what, and then I haven't been able to stop thinking it. Um,
highly. Welcome in.
Also, thank you for the
Thank you
follow,
for the raid.
Chicharros.
Wait,
Yeah, hi, hi.
please go and follow Fjord.
Welcome, welcome all the people. That's I guess that's my introduction. Um,
Yeah, please go and follow Fjord. We're playing Power Wash and like doing, I guess, what feels like a podcast episode, but it's not actually a podcast episode. We're just
yeah.
talking. Oh, but thank you so much for raid. What were y'all doing on stream,
Oh
dude?
my god. Felt like I just had to bring that into the world.
Oh man. But yeah, therapy's been interesting. uh, I suspect if you saw my therapist, you would face a similar thing. Because maybe this is the problem where you hyper intellectualize a lot of things. Like you get the end result of the concept, but like you struggle with the vulnerability of the first half. Because no doubt
What,
I'm like,
like,
I don't know, I'm a tsundere, like apparently. Um I feel like very uncomfortable around like very basic expression of emotion, whether it's like especially like basic expression of like positive affection. I'm just like,
hmm.
I mean, I'm fucked up somewhere, I guess, but but like I think that's why I'm like struggling with the first half and I'm okay with the second half. Because like I get
Hmm.
all the concepts and I can apply those concepts that are a bit more like challenging, but like the easy parts, oh god. The parts that require feeling. Oh
Hmm.
god. Started out with a repo and moved to Outer World Spacer's Choice Edition. It was pretty fun, but I streamed for way too long. Go and rest if you need to. I
Yeah,
don't know how long
please
we're
do.
gonna be on for actually. Because
Yeah.
we're. Are you gonna continue co-work streaming after this?
I'm kind of torn between that and like going to sleep, so I don't know. I do feel kind of hungry, so maybe I might.
I might hop off actually, because I'm still a bit like
Yeah.
tired from event.
Yeah, fair
Uh,
enough. I guess I am also leaning towards like calling it a night.
hmm. But yeah, for those who are just joining, we were talking about Wanderstop basically, and I do recommend you
Hmm.
check it out if you haven't yet. It is very
Yeah,
good.
great game. Talking about the game Wanderstop. It's a game that was released earlier this year, um, developed by Ivy Road, written by Davey Reedon. You might know him from The Stanley Parable or The Beginner's Guide, and published by Annapurna.
Yeah.
So it was a game that when it released, we were both very excited for and wanted to talk about, and we just haven't gone around to it until now because of circumstance.
But yeah, we're a bit talked up.
Yeah, I mean it just so happens that we're both kind of like coming off of very exhausting periods in time and life and stuff.
Ironically, you wanted to cover the game about burnout and then proceeded to like, you know, have lots of
Do it at the
experiences where
time
we
when
could.
we're the
Yeah.
most like, yeah, yeah.
Wow, we can apply the lessons we
That's
learned in the game directly.
wow, so true. Back bar cabinet light.
Oh my god. What is not clean? Fridge.
Fridge.
What the?
Oh, I got it. Bar door.
Can you open the fridge? I don't think it was at the point where like you could open things yet. Because this is one of the first DLCs, right? Wait, is
Yeah.
fridge done? Oh, fridge is done.
Fridge is done. Fridge is done. I got
Kitchen
back
vent.
bar lamp.
Oh, this.
Is that the lamp?
Okay. Pots. And these
Back
pans? Oh,
room
pots.
ceiling light.
Step stool. Oh. Oh, this.
Door frame.
Mm.
Ceiling shaded lights. Ah.
You know, strangely, I think the biggest struggle for me with like reviewing all these games is like I do kind of have to like constantly open my mind to like new things.
Hmm.
There are games I would actually prefer to spend my time like consuming and playing, but like they don't always align with like the games I end up having to review, and then
Right.
yeah, my time gets split.
I will say the phrase open-minded has been a little bit ruined for me by TikTok brain rot.
Oh, what do you mean? Oh,
Have you
open-minded.
seen the Hong? Yeah, open-minded.
Wow. No, I actually
Excuse
haven't
me.
like I don't think I
No,
want
you
to.
haven't.
No.
Oh god. Yeah, no. Wall columns. Okay.
Wall lantern still. Which one? Oh, this one. I cleaned
Right.
it already. I don't know. I think I'm a fairly generous game reviewer. Cause like I
Mhm.
don't. I always try to think about how the. I, I mean, it's easy to get jaded really fast playing so many games and having to like, because you can only compare based on like your own experience.
Mm.
Um, and then you'll usually like if the game doesn't appeal to you, then or if it doesn't stand out from the roster of games that you've played previously, then that's kind of it. And then game reviewer standards get like really really high.
Mm.
Um, I don't know. I always try to like actively be a bit like less harsh in that area and try to see the value that the game is providing, and then maybe being a little bit frank about like, okay, the game is not like very developed in this area. It's not very complex in that area or whatever, but never like yeah. Because I
Mm.
don't know, like I play, I would say like quite a lot of games now, but most people aren't going to be playing a lot of games, and then when they do happen to play a game that like I've reviewed or whatever, that might be like the one game that they're playing for like that quarter of the year, you know. So they don't have the fatigue that I have.
Mm, yeah.
Of course, it's great when a game like feels fresh as you're playing it. Then you're like, okay, this is like really something. Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a bit hard. It's a completely other conversation. There's just so much
Oh
media
yeah.
now. So much media now.